Hello, hello. I'm here today to start showing my journey with my homemade tapping instrument. So this here is it. This is all done by me and a local instrument maker. And it took about four 16-hour days or so in the workshop. And a lot of time sanding at home. And finally, it's pretty much done, and I have started my journey to learn playing it. Um, so I'll show some things. The head here, it has one of the issues. The faceplate for the head. You can see that the varnishing job didn't turn out too smoothly, unlike the rest of the instrument, where it all turned out pretty well. It all came off pretty smoothly over the whole thing. Um, yeah, just at that head faceplate, we had some problems, and that was a problem with how we approached the whole thing. It was very winged, unplanned. We didn't have, uh, good ways to apply everything evenly. It was all kind of a bit slipshod the way it was done. So that's the price we paid. Um, yeah, all the machine heads were just purchased as you might expect. This faceplate was taken from, carved out by us from the same aluminum sheet that we did the faceplates for the pickups and the electronics here. And this piece of brass was machined for the bridge by a friend of the instrument maker. One of the more expensive parts of the whole instrument, actually. It turned out to be pretty expensive between the shipping and the supplying of brass and the machining of it. If I were to make another one, I would probably seek out alternatives. But I think it turned out pretty well because it wound up giving this kind of Art Deco style to the body, so to speak, of the instrument. Uh, so I think all in all, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out aesthetically. The whole fretboard was made by hand and glued to the body, glued to the neck, um, by us in the shop. And the nut was done by hands. This is all pretty much handmade. One thing I'll show that I think hasn't turned out so well as far as the strategy goes is you can see on the bridge here these saddle pieces. We made these saddle pieces out of a hard wood, and we carved them by hand, so they're all pretty uneven. And you can see that they have these grooves that they can move between in the bridge, and that's for the intonation. Only it looks like for this bass string in particular, it's not really possible to get perfectly correct intonation, and it's kind of surprising where that position is right now. But it's a little bit off. It's a few cents off at the low end, at least. Um, but all in all, me, I'm not hypersensitive to this stuff. When I go to play this, maybe if you have perfect pitch, you might want to plug your ears or be warned anyway, that some of this stuff might be off. Um, yeah, on the back here, um, this is a this is a sack strap I just purchased, and it's kind of bolted on here. This is actually a little. Where are we? Okay, yeah. Whew, hey, my sense of direction's great. Shut up. So this is a little uh piece that we bolted on. I believe it's made for like orchestral string instruments, like cellos and things like that. And it's got this peg here that is actually put in magnetically. It's slotted into another little peg, so it can come out technically, but it's actually really hard to get out. And what I wound up doing with that is this is not ideal for the way this is set up, because the sack strap really just needs something to clip onto. You see, so it would have been better to just have a metal bracket or something that was meant to be like a bracket that screws into a wall. I think would have been much better for this, because I wound up having to make this little bit of wire loop that goes with the peg in order to clip the sack strap on. And I don't know. I mean, it works. It's not like a big problem, but um, it feels pretty handmade. It doesn't feel, the construction's pretty nice on a lot of this instrument, and it doesn't feel quite up to the same standard. And here I got this. What the hell's it made out of? I can't even remember now. But it's sort of like a semi-hard plastic. I got this hook for the belt hook. I just purchased it on eBay. It was pretty cheap. Um, and so it goes on just like a Chapman Stick would. Let me untangle those wires. It goes on just like a Chapman Stick would. Belt buckle and belt hook goes into a belt, and the sack strap goes over the shoulder. Yep. And I've only had this working for a few days now. One problem, actually, I'll show this while I'm here. One problem that you can maybe see that we've had is look at the alignment of the pickups. So it's designed to have one pickup for the bass strings and a totally separate pickup for the melody strings, but you can see where the strings are over it. It's a bit of a close call. And it turns out that, of course, the pickups do pick up the low strings from the other set. So the bass string here, you can hear, good Lord, you can hear, I've got it so that the two string sets are panned, hard panned. So this should be, I think this should be the left channel, hard panned. And as we get here, you can probably hear more noise. It's almost like it's coming out from the center channel a bit more. See, and similar kind of thing happening here. There's a lot of bleed through from the pickups, so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to fix that. It's a major problem with how this has been constructed, and the instrument maker who I was working with, he never used these pickups before, but he felt pretty confident in the placement, and we didn't test it, which was a dumb move. And it saddled me with this problem at this stage. I think what I'm going to try to do is I think I'm going to try to put magnetic shielding over the sides of the pickups and try to shield them from the strings, but it's going to be a little hard because I'm not sure how I'm going to do that without while making sure that the shielding doesn't interfere with the strings themselves. So I'm not sure how that's going to go. If I was smart, I would have tuned this thing before giving a demonstration, but I've been practicing just a little bit over the last few days, and I wanted to show what I'm doing okay, what I'm struggling with. I just wanted to show my level at this really early stage, and I wanted to do that to show something that's not a finished learning process. I'm towards the beginning. Maybe I'll play something that sounds like I'm not towards the beginning, but I really am towards the beginning. Even though I've played bass and guitar just a little bit. I was never great with either of those instruments, and I never wanted to put in the time. And I'm hoping that with this tapping instrument, I'm going to put in the time. Here's another limitation, just while I'm here talking about the limitations that I've been saddled with. So I'm sure you can hear there's a lot more noise than is desirable from the open strings, especially on the melody strings. It's a major problem. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to fix it. Also, there is it is easy to make these bass strings buzz a little bit. I'm not hearing it too much, but you might hear it if I play something. Wow. I'm gonna cut out some of these takes. Well, I don't know. We'll see. But this is the opening bass line from Construction of Light. I'll just do a few little takes. Let's see if I can get it right. You kind of get the idea from that. You can probably hear some of the buzzing, and you can hear I'm not putting it together fluidly. It's a mess. It's a mess. But this is where I'm starting, right? You can hear I have all the notes at least, so that's a plus. I basically physically I can play the thing, but it requires more practice to get that right. So that'll be, you know, I'll try to check in with the bass line from Construction of Light. I can get it right maybe if I've been sitting there practicing. I'll get it one out of every 5 takes will be good. So yeah, and there are a few little things about that I need to practice. It is possible to hit the strings so there's less buzz. Just hitting it really, really cleanly, it's possible. It's a bit better. You can hear there's maybe a little bit of buzz there, and it is possible to reduce that. So that's one of those little things. It's just one of those little things that'll require practice, and we'll see how it goes. Another thing is chords on this damn thing. Wow. Yeah, let's see. It's hard to. I struggle. You'll hear as I. Yeah, I'm doing okay actually at the moment, but a lot of the time it's really hard to hit them all at the same time. So what's this other chord? I'm not transitioning between chords fluently, as you can see. This one uses the pinky coming down with the other 2 fingers, and this is just where I'm at. I can't quite. It's hard to get it consistent. It's hard to get it consistent in hitting all 3 of those in a satisfying way. There we go. Right, so that's another thing. These chords, I mean, it's just I'll have to practice. And what's the other one? This one. Maybe like that. Does he hit it like that? No, I don't think he does. Is that the chord? I think it is. It sounds minor though, doesn't it? Yeah. Maybe it's like that. I think it's like that. There you go. That's where I'm at. I'm very early stages. I first tried playing a chord yesterday, so yeah, that's a little tour of the instrument and the very early beginner level that I'm at with playing it. You know, if you like this, hit the like button, whatever the hell the kids do these days. And if you have if you have suggestions about what I might be able to do about the pickups and isolating the bass and melody strings correctly, I'd be interested in hearing it. Also, if you have any ideas for how to better mute these top strings, right now I've just got a piece of felt in there, and I've got some foam. I've got some latex foam that I tried, and it wasn't doing any better. It's to my surprise. I thought it would absorb a lot more vibration, but it wasn't doing any better than the felt alone was doing. Wow, I'm not positioning myself well in this shot. Uh, I'm a bit of a living joke. All right, cool. Yeah, I wasn't doing any better than the felt is doing, so I took it out. Um, and I'm not very confident now in foam. Maybe the latex just doesn't have the right properties. You know, maybe it's not actually rigid enough. I thought that its sponginess would make it ideal, but maybe I was thinking totally wrong. Maybe I need a more rigid foam. But I had another piece of foam in there, which was the first thing that I tried, and it wasn't doing any better than the felt is either. So my sense is that it actually, for this instrument, I know the Chapman Stick does not do this, but it'd be nice to have something going over the strings in this top fret to better mute. But yeah, it's hard to get the right level of muting. Some other stuff that I've tried, just because I suspect that if anybody ever watches this, they'll suggest this. I tried a gate. I tried a gate, but if you up the floor of the gate or the threshold of the gate to the point where you don't hear the other strings coming through, where you've isolated the two pickups, the signals from the two pickups, yeah, I mean, the attack is gone. Like, you really messed with the sound. And the other thing that I've tried, of course, is, for example, on the melody strings, I've tried putting a high pass filter on them. But that high pass filter, um, in order to actually fully block out the sound from the bass strings, that high pass filter needs to basically be blocking out everything from like 300 hertz or so at least upwards. And so the the sound from the melody strings becomes really tinny if I try to use that as a way of blocking out the signal from the bass strings. And it also doesn't get rid of the high end, you know, the kind of sound of the attack of the strings, the high end of the actual of the actual tap against the fret. So yeah, those kind of post instrument those fixing it in post doesn't seem to be working out for me. So it does seem like there needs to be a physical solution. So if you have any ideas, put it in the comments, wherever the comments are. I don't know how the hell this shit works. What's the internet again? I don't know. Shut up. All right. I think that's enough of me talking. But say hello to my new homemade tapping instrument and the very beginning of my journey learning to play it. All right. Thanks. See ya.